protecting your energy. Be careful, little ears, how you hear, how you receive information, and whether you find yourself agreeing with things that are being said. And likewise, now speech, that's a thief, but it's not only the speech of others, it's your own as well. So be careful, little mouth, what you say. Does this empower me or does this weaken me? How will this affect my energy? See? And now you're starting to notice, and you're correcting your self-speech, because speech is programming. They call it the programming. What do they call software? They use a programming language. Thank you. Programming language. Because language programs. Language absolutely programs. And if you want a robot, a slave, you just tell them the same thing over and over and over and get them to agree and get them to repeat it. Vampire bite them. You bite them and then you get them so they have to go out and bite others. So how could we not be a slave? We're not getting bit. What if you get bit? Reprogram yourself with programming. Thank you. My gosh. It's true, though. So your self-language and the language of others can be an energy thief. And every thief, of course, in reversed can be a gift, obviously. Can be gold left at your door. But speech, and then being mechanical. And that's literally the Pavlovian salivation. To train your senses, to be able, and remember Yeats had you take a breath and said you just got control of your ohani. What was it he said? That is it. You can control your response to a stimulus. That is probably one of the most magical gifts you have, is your ability. Stimulus, the bell ringing, response, the salivation. Animals and insects, this is all they got, stimulus and response. You, as a human, have something that an animal provides, unless it's wounded or fearful. If it's wounded or fearful, it could do a starvation diet. But if it's not afraid and it's not wounded, it will not choose to starve itself to death. But humans have done it in protest, right? You've heard of those, political figure locked up, says he's going to go on a starvation protest. Question? Okay, so you have this magical thing right here, stimulus. What's between stimulus and response for us? Choice. Control. The C can be for control. You have choice and control. You can control. So then you are no longer mechanical. Because what we're doing when we operate mechanically and we take on these beliefs, oh, you just can't make it in this economy, and you mechanically think it and talk it and agree it, okay, and operate that way and behave that way. Fear is mechanical. It's a mechanical programming. These are the primary energy thieves. There are actually 15 or 18 that I'll list out. Would it be pretty cool to know this? Very cool. Isn't it cool to know this now? Will you think and speak differently now? Truth exists outside of the mechanical. There's partial truth in the mechanical. There is some truth in that box. Okay? But there's also truth outside the box. So therefore, you can't be mechanical if you want to truly enlighten and be rigid in your thinking, because that when you're free of the mechanical, then you're liberated. Then you're liberated. Then you no longer have to say, oh, I can only punch and block this way. You can do anything. You can be crazy. The ordinary mind knows no rules. So protecting your energy first, last, and always. Is that useful? Is the question for the filter useful? How will this affect my energy? Is that useful, Francis? Is that good? So the next time you face a choice at a menu, okay, a menu, what will I eat? How will this affect my energy? Imagine if you ate that way for 3 weeks. How differently would your body feel? Okay, choices, and we have them. And that's how we protect our energy, and it's pretty awesome stuff. Energy first, last, and always. And this model right here, the SCR model, just knowing that. The entire world, practically 98% of the entire world is operating on SR, stimulus response. Well, I just can't help it because that's how I feel. Right? That's what they're thinking. That's what they're taught to think. Why? Why are they deliberately dumbed down? Why do they want to be taught that you are how you feel and that, you just can't do anything about it? Easier to control. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're not easy to control, you're a lot more powerful than those who are easy to control. And if you understand control. So you have choices and you're beginning to make them and make changes. I've already talked about economy of motion, but I write down these 4 principles that will help preserve your time and energy. One thing, no negative friends. Now that doesn't mean you go out and you just, you fire all your friends just because, they're not positive thinkers. But what it means is in your relationships, no negative friends is huge because we are influenced by who we're around, right? And that's why you're here, to get some positive influence, right? So no negative friends. Dark, you can see when their energy field isn't positive, when it's negative, when it's dark. Does that make sense? And so often, like in my relationships, if they're not fun to work with, you'll find negative energy lies a lot. Okay, you'll see lies and incongruencies in negative energy. That's a way of knowing as well. If you find people lying a lot, it's a negative energy, and that's a huge factor. You talked about other people. Was it you? It was you, Chris. You said other people. That's right. Well, the other people, I'm specifying who. Okay, it's negative friends or relationships, dishonest relationships that will suck you down huge, and all the while you think you're in control. Because, I know they're negative. I know they're lying. But trust me, it will energetically influence you subconsciously. So consciously, you might be aware of it. You're not going to influence me, but it's still influencing you over here. Okay? Never hearken. That little voice is calling all the time. Okay? Here's a training. Practice this. The next time you're eating a meal at home and the phone rings, don't get up and check it. Giri is honor, Giri, and in the ninja, Giri, the honor thing of, and so in my relationships, I keep Giri, Giri, is honor, and that's the friends you can trust, and those are the people I work with as well, and I keep that clean all the time, and it's there's either positive or negative energy, and how will this affect my energy, and is this person congruent? Are they honest? That's a huge factor. And that's what we're seeking for first in most any relationship. Okay, never hearken. I just talked about that. And the next time you're having a meal and the phone rings, I've had people that look at me like, oh my God, are you looking at the phone? And like their eyeball's going to pop out. And they're just sweating because they hear this phone ring and I'm just relaxing, eating my meal. Aren't you going to get that? No. Never hearken. Train your senses. This is a good way, a good energy practice, because what will everyone in this room would have done last night if you're at home sitting eating a meal, I guarantee if that phone rang, you'd probably, it might be, who is it? Let me see. Don't hearken. If you can train yourself not to hearken, then you're going to piss Pavlov off, okay? And the mind controllers and the negative energy, the negative energies out there, and it's a good thing because you're going to thwart them. You're thwarting the attacker when you don't hearken. And practice by not hearkening to a ringing phone, which leads to by appointment only. I'm by appointment only. You know how many people's lives are run by in-laws, parents, relatives, friends who just drop in or just call? That phone, ringing phone is an interruption. And what are the only 2 things we get when we're born? Time and energy. So I'm by appointment only. I mean, I've had people crying and bawling and swearing, and hey, look, I ask this question. I say, would you rather me appreciate you and give you quality time, or would you rather me resent you behind your back for giving you your way and letting you just drop in whenever you feel like it? Okay, so by appointment only means also quality time. See? So I don't just let anyone just drop in whenever. I control that zone, okay, because the time is precious. And then I can have segment intending and tell the person, come at 5, and it's designated. So it's not just at their whim. You know how many people's lives are just destroyed? Because they don't hate, even at the office. Joe will come in and stand over your desk and start chatting, and you're really trying to focus. Say, hey, Joe, you got to go, bro. I'm busy. I got to focus. Okay? Most people don't have that. So learn to have that never hearken to a ringing phone, never take the bait, never salivate to the ringing bell. And that right there will liberate you from most mind control if you can recognize the 9 gates and then be by appointment only. It's very powerful protector of your time. And when you protect your time, and then you can energize it, get economy of motion going, and all of a sudden your energy and time, you're going to have a life at the end of 80 or 100 years that was worth 10 or 20 lives of ordinary men. And that's a life well lived.